Te Ahurei o Tainui. Some tribal traditions say that Rakataura built an altar tuahu at Makatu on the summit of the small hill behind the existing marae buildings before he and Aotearoa met up again. Others assert that Aotearoa built the altar there immediately after Tainui was beached. Whatever tradition is accepted, the altar at Makatu, called Te Ahurei, remains as one of the most wahi tapu of the Tainui people, and it was here that Aotearoa, Rakataura, and the others gave thanks for the completion of the arduous voyage from Hawaiiki and sought supernatural sanction for their intended settlement. The tuahu at Te Ahurei is not just one of many such altars constructed and used for sacred ceremonies by the tohunga on their first arrival, but it is the pre-eminent tuahu where the divination and other mystic rites were performed and which symbolised the completion of the voyage of Tainui from Hawaiiki and the permanent settlement of its people at Kawhia. According to Pai Te Hurunui, the principal school of learning, wananga, was established by Aotearoa at Te Ahurei, Makatu. There was little doubt that the traditions of learning needed to be continued, and a learning centre re-established as soon as possible after their settlement. Many of the sacred artefacts brought to Aotearoa on Tainui were reposited at Te Ahurei. Later, other wananga of the Tainui tradition were established at Whatawhata and Piopio. Of course, the importance of Ahurei was not lost on succeeding generations of Tainui descendants as a consequence of there being a wananga at Makatu. Ahurei continued as the site of the most sacred ceremonies associated with the search for and transmission of knowledge. This is a diagram of Te Ahurei. The triangle is the little hill that was mentioned in the story at the back of the existing marae today. Kawhia moana, kawhia kai, kawhia tangata is the whakatauki of Tainui waka. The black horizontal line represents the waka, and at the tau ihu is puna whakatipu tangata, which is the Irawahine. At the taurapa of the waka is Hani te wauwai I ki miatu. Now, the tauihu, if you go to Makatu at Te Ahurei, the tauihu is represented by a limestone, and the taurapa as well represents a limestone. Now, the hill in this diagram is being divided up into three platforms, the top part being the tohunga, which is the high priest. The bottom part are the pia, and the pia are also priests. Below the pia on the bottom platform are the tauira. They weren't looked upon as being students. In those days, the tauira were the, I guess they were the senior members of the tribe that were able to go into the whare wananga and sit with the tohunga with the high priest and the priest to be able to learn or receive all the knowledge. And I guess those another way of looking at the tauira, they, for today's explanation, I would say they would be paramount chief or leaders of the tribe. Down the bottom is another whakatauki, and it goes like this. Ko Te Ahurei te kura wananga o uanuku o Aotearoa o Rakataura. Tu turuwhiti whakamaua kia tīna, haumi e, hui e, tai ki. Te whare wananga o Tainui is known as Te Ahurei. The three levels are 1, tohunga, 2, pia, and 3, tauira, are as follows. Te tohi whakauenuku is the popo or the mauri of the tohunga platform. Te tohi raukina is the popo or mauri of ngā pia. Te tohi whakaitu paura is the popo o ngā tauira. Tainui Anchor Stone. The Tainui Anchor was raised from the bed Moko River in 1927. The Tainui Anchor was raised from the bed Moko River in 1927, from the area called Tokopapa, now known as the flower pot. It was used for tying up waka when they were not in use. The stone weighed approximately 450 to 500 pounds, and its shape resembled a dumbbell. At the time it was raised, it was not known if it was brought here by waka or made here, so scrapings from the stone were examined. The finding was that it was made of local material that abounds in that particular spot. The anchor is now embedded in concrete at Whaingaroa Cemetery, which is a kilometre north of Moko Township. The Anchor Stone is one of the many landmarks of Tainui territory, ne tohu o Tainui. When the Tainui waka reached Aotearoa, its first landfall was Whangaparaoa, at the eastern end of Bay of Plenty. On arrival, the captain of the canoe, Aotearoa, built an altar there to give thanks to the gods for their safe arrival and to seek continuing protection and sanction for the future well-being of the ship's company. Geological traditions tells us that some of the company stayed behind in the Bay of Plenty at both Whangaparaoa and further west at Torere, but the majority continued westward to Coromandel, where one of the sails was left at Whitianga. Eventually, they entered the Hauraki Gulf and the Waitemata. There some others left the Tainui Waka canoe and settled on the narrow isthmus, which later became known as Tamaki Makaurau. At each resting place, altars were constructed and prayers offered up to for a continuation of their well-being. At Tamaki, the Tainui waka was dragged over the narrow portage between Waitemata and the Manuka harbour. It is said that the priest Rakataura, also called Rakaiuru, is the company of other tohunga left Tainui and proceeded southwards through the forestlands by foot. Still, the majority of the company was abroad when Tainui cleared the Manuka heads and sailed along the boisterous west coast of the island, which is still referred to today as the Tai Tamatane. At first, the Tainui waka sailed north into the Kaipara harbour and then beyond it, but then turned south and explored the coast to the south of Manuka. Initially, they sailed past the Waikato heads in the three harbours, Whaingaroa, Aotea and Kawhia, eventually making landfall at Mimi in North Taranaki, where Aotearoa planted a pohutukawa tree which he had transported from the east coast, the Tai Tamawahine. Turning northwards again, Aotearoa navigated the Tainui waka to Moko, where it was hauled ashore and secured to three posts. According to oral traditions recorded by Kelly, the ship's company left Tainui at Moko and travelled northwards to Kawhia, where Aotearoa and Rakataura were able to reconcile their differences. The Tainui waka was launched again at Moko, where its anchor stone was left, and it was sailed back up the coast to Kawhia, where at Makatu it was finally hauled ashore to rest. The extent of these early excursions established the boundaries of the territory claimed by Tainui and still recognized by all the other tribes today.